So you've found yourself a new house, but you don't want to sell your old one. Now, this is my favourite type of application that we do. It's called a let to buy, and I'm going to tell you all about how it works. So listen up, let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Adam, I'm an expert mortgage broker. Today we're talking all about what we call let to buy mortgages. Just the same as a buy to let, but the words are in a different order and it means something slightly different. So we're going to talk about what it means and how it all works. As I said at the start, I really love doing these applications, especially when people didn't realise that they could do it. It opens up a whole world of possibilities to people, makes you proceedable on a new house without selling your old one. Now, if you find what we're talking about today useful, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. There's loads more content every week. We try and do a new video every Friday for you. So a let to buy then is basically the same as a buy to let mortgage. A buy to let mortgage you would take if you were going to buy a property specifically to rent out, a buy to let it out. So that's slightly different. This one is you're going to let your current house out to buy another one, so let to buy. Same kind of lenders, same kind of rates, same kind of criteria, same kind of calculations and things in the background. Most lenders have a minimum income of £25,000 between you if it's a joint application. Not all though, so there are some mortgage lenders we can go to that don't have that minimum income, so that can be really useful. Rental calculations still apply. They've got slightly easier over the last couple of years, but we can't just borrow what we like willy-nilly. We have to make sure that the rent is going to cover the mortgage by a certain margin. That's way too complex for one video because it changes from lender to lender, depending where you are in the country as well, and how your rental valuations stack up against your moving valuations and things. So that's a very individual, bespoke conversation to have with people. So I'm going to keep this fairly generic, but I'm going to run you through an example as we go through this. Now, the most important thing that we need to make a let to buy application work is we do need a little bit of equity. Well, I say a little bit, we need a decent chunk of equity. So this isn't going to work, you know, if you bought your house with 5% deposit a year ago or 2 years ago, and you haven't got any other savings or any other money elsewhere, you know, this isn't going to work really, unless suddenly a house is worth double what it was when you double what it was when you bought it for whatever reason. Maybe it is, but generally speaking that's not going to work. So this really is aimed at people with a good chunk of equity. So I'm going to run you through a scenario based on a current property, let's say worth about £300,000. So let's say you own a property now, it's worth about £300,000, and you found a new property for about 400. So we're upsizing, but we don't want to sell this one. So we need a bit of equity. We need to be able to release enough money to put down a deposit on your new house. Or if you've got savings or money elsewhere that you can use as your deposit, maybe we don't need to release anything from this property. So generally speaking, we can go up to about 75% of your property's value. Now, there are certain ways of getting a little bit more than that, but it's very hard to make the figures work. So let's keep it general. Let's say 75% of your property's value, which in this case is going to be 225. So house is worth 300, new mortgage could be up to 225. So let's assume then that your mortgage on this property was, what's that going to be, sort of 140 or so to make my example work out. So about 140 current mortgage, we're going to take that up to 225. Now that's going to release us £85,000. Now, it doesn't matter where that 85,000 comes from. For this example, we're releasing it all from the property. You might have savings, as I said a second ago. So let's not stress about the whys and wherefores of that. But we've increased your old mortgage up to 225, 75% of the current house value. Now, we're going to rent this current house out, and we're probably going to rent this house that's worth about 300,000 for, I don't know, £1,200 maybe, something like that per month. Now, this won't work all up and down the country. You know, there are certain pockets of the UK that are better for rental figures than others. So for this example, we'll say that house is going to rent out for about £1,200. Now, that mortgage that we've just got, and then we've just borrowed 225, that's going to cost us about £550–560 a month based on current rates. We're kind of early August right now, so that's based on current rates. So depending when you're watching this, that may well have changed, but that's just an example as of today. So we've actually got a little bit of profit in there. The reason we've got profit is because we've swapped this mortgage from probably what was a repayment mortgage to interest only. So whenever we do a buy to let or let to buy or investment property, it is quite common to have it interest only. We're just covering the interest each and every month. Now, I'm going to do loads of content when I can on buy-to-lets and investment and things, but for now let's just say if you've got an investment property, second property, buy-to-let, we should be doing it really on an interest-only basis, because then in this example we've got, what's that, about £600 a month in profit. Now that's taxable income. There's a whole sort of world of extra information in here which we'll cover off another day, but that £600 a month is taxable, depending on your current tax status with your higher rate, lower rate, basic rate taxpayer. So that's not just free money, it's taxable like any other income, but there is extra money there. That's the point of this. There's extra money there that we can put into repaying the new mortgage on the new house. So let's think about the new house then. So we said a minute ago that was going to be worth about 400,000. Now we need a deposit for this. So whether that's we've increased your old mortgage or whether we've got cash or whatever separately, we need a deposit. And I think we probably need really to have about 15% to make this work. There's the odd lender that might let us have 10%, but 15% deposit really is where most lenders are going to be. So that is going to be £60,000. Now, that's not all. We've got some other costs coming up. So we've got our stamp duty. Now, if we were going to sell your house and buy a new one, sell the old house, buy the new one at 400, the stamp duty would be about £10,000. Now, because this is not your first property, this is a second property, you are going to pay the additional stamp duty surcharge, which is 3% of the balance. So instead of being £10,000, that's more like £20,000. So there's quite a cost difference there in your stamp duty, just because you're keeping your existing one. But you're going to save estate agency fees because you're not going to sell it, and solicitors' costs and things. So it is going to cost more in fees, but it's much, much better in the long run, trust me. So stamp duty is a big cost. 22 actually, isn't it? The extra stamp duty on the £400,000 house. So 22,000. Then we need a little bit of money for your solicitors and removals and bits and pieces like that. Let's rather conveniently say that's all going to add up to about £25,000 with our fees and costs. So see where I'm going with this? We released 85,000 from your current property. We've spent 60 on a deposit. We've got 25 for the fees and costs. There we go. We've got enough money to buy that new house at 400,000. The term and what we do with that mortgage is going to affect how much that's going to cost, so we won't worry about that for the purposes of the video. But the new lender for your new purchase is going to be able to discount. As long as we go with the right lender, the new lender is going to be able to discount the mortgage and everything that we've got on the let to buy in the background, because they will know that a tenant is going to be paying that mortgage, the rent is going to come in. Now, not every lender is right for this process, so we have to pick the right one, but there's a good choice. So this is just like any other application, and we can pretty much ignore the mortgage in the background because we know it's going to be paid by the rental income. So there's plenty of information on the channel. I'll put a link in the description about how we work out your affordability for the new purchase, but let's assume that that's going to be fine and we've got a good few years to repay this new mortgage. So we've ended up then with a new property that we live in and a mortgage that we're repaying over time. We've got another property that you used to live in but now is rented out to tenants, and we've got a good few £100 profit between the rental income that we're getting and the mortgage payment that it's costing us. So we've got some profit there. Now that's taxable income, but there'll be a little bit of profit left over for us to help put into the monthly payments on the new property. So you can see why I love doing these kind of applications. It gets people proceedable straight away. You don't need to wait to sell. This is a really good thing to do. If you can do this, maybe you could do it again next time and again the time after that. People do this quite often. We help a lot of people do these let to buy applications. So they're a favourite of ours. If you're interested to see whether these figures work for you, or if you're in this kind of position where you've got enough equity or you've got some deposit separately anyway, and we want to be proceedable without selling, then you can get in touch. There's a link in the description below, the link to our website. You can book an appointment on there with us. So hopefully you have found that useful. I really hope you have. Check us out on our website on the link in the description. Until then, I will see you on the next video. Take care.